Hi, it's Jazz at Red Panda Reads, and today I'm doing a book unhaul. So I'm just going to go through this stack of books that I have behind me and talk about the ones that I'm going to get rid of. So, obviously got this for Christmas, still going to read it, that is not going anywhere. My little gorgeous copy of Animal Farm. How have I not read Animal Farm? Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. Fabulous non-fiction book. June, I've just stolen this from Rob, my partner. Need to read it. Sarah Waters, Fingersmith. I am going to be getting rid of this one. I got it from a charity shop. I found it too slow for my liking and I disliked all the characters. I really enjoyed reading the synopsis on Wikipedia and think the story is really fun. For me, it was just slow. Look, I got that far. I did it as a buddy read with Kieran at KD Books, and he got through it somehow, and his review is actually very flattering to my surprise, but in like very constructive is how you could call it. He does a good review, and probably if you do like slow-paced historical fiction, this is good for you, but no, not for me. So that is going. Similarly, Neil Gaiman. This is the only book by Neil Gaiman I have tried to read. I started on a plane, could not get into it. I also don't like covers where they have pictures from TV series and films. Just don't like it. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get into it. And I just have no desire to read it. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know if you've enjoyed American Gods, but I think I'm going to give this away. Man's Search for Meaning. Again, another tiny book. This has been on my TBR pile for ages. It needs to be read. Okay. Evolution and Healing. I read enough scientific papers. No, this is going. Okay, this I don't know. So this is Women in Sport, 50 Fearless Athletes Who Play to Win, written and illustrated by Rachel Ignatowski. And it's absolutely beautiful. I started reading it, you can see. Absolutely gorgeous, and it is really interesting, but I don't go to pick it up. That's a maybe. That's a maybe. The Midnight Library, Matt Haig. I was expecting too much from this book. I thought it was going to change my life, get rid of all that, anxiety and regret. It didn't, but I would be really interested to go back to this book when I'm in a better state of mind and see how I found it. Because in general, I am in a better state of mind, and his other book was fabulous. So no, I'll keep that for the moment. I will keep it. Book that I'm going to be starting very soon. I realise I have not read enough translated fiction. I definitely want to experience more books from different cultures because I just think it's very important to basically experience as much as you can from as many different places as possible. And this is Strange Beasts of China, which looks like an absolute gem. Just looks like a really exciting, fun, part detective, part metaphysical, part strange beasts book, and I think it looks wonderful. So I'm 100% keeping that. Rogues is a collection of stories based on the character of rogues. And the reason I got this, for potential obvious reasons, is it has a Patrick Rothfuss story in it called The Lightning Tree, and I absolutely adore Patrick Rothfuss's fantasy writing. And if you have read The Name of the Wind, and if you have read The Wise Man's Fear, you probably, like me, are desperately waiting for the next book. So whenever you see something related to Patrick Rothfuss, you will buy a 800-word book just to read a 60-word story. Yeah, why not? I should keep this. The Desert Spare. This is a zombie fantasy book. I should call it an undead fantasy book. I enjoyed the first one. Took me a little while to get into, but it was fun. This is the next. I think I started it. I don't know. This is a maybe. I just don't feel like reading it because I feel I'd have to read the first one again. I don't know if I want to read the first one again, but I know I went out to buy this after I bought the first one. So what? Why? With any of the maybes, let me know what you thought of them and whether I should get rid of them or not. But do not persuade me about, well, you can persuade me about the ones. You probably could persuade me about the ones I've said no to. Brandon Sanderson. We're not going to go through all the Brandon Sandersons. You know I'm going to keep all the Brandon Sandersons. Talking of Patrick Rothfuss, The Slow Regards for Silent Things is such a gem. It's about Aurori, who is a side character in The Name of the Wind, who is a character who was a student at the university where our main character goes to, and the magic has a massive effect on her mental state, and she ends up kind of hiding underneath the university and is this extremely skittish and scared, yet she has a heart of gold and is kind of like hidden herself in this childlike state and just is looking for kindness and beautiful meanings in everything she sees. Yet she also does just spend days where she will sit and she will cry and she can't escape all the thoughts. And this book is kind of a disjointed, beautiful story from her perspective about her life in the underthing, which is under the university. And it's just beautiful, and you feel for her so much. Ori is just such a beautiful, wonderful, kind character, and if she gets taken from the underthing, she will probably be locked up and considered mad, and she just needs kindness. All she needs is kindness. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of that. Lowborn, oh my goodness, best non-fiction of this year, potentially the best non-fiction I've ever read. It's talking poverty in the UK, growing up, what it's like, going back to those places, seeing what they're like now, and it's just incredibly eye-opening. Okay, I don't know if I want to read this. I really enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale, but I never find myself reaching to this. I got it for Christmas. I think I've kind of got that thing where I feel a bit bad getting rid of it. But I don't know if I want to read it. Ugh, that's going in the maybe pile. Pine is going. Pine was a thriller. Well, it was advertised as a thriller, but it was more like a supernatural crime fiction, and the crime didn't really start till the last 50 or so pages, and then I was really into it and I wanted to know who the killer was and got really excited. But other than the relationship between the father and daughter, who are both struggling since the disappearance of her mother, other than their relationship and their bond, I didn't really enjoy it. So someone else can enjoy it, I'm sure. This is the thing with all these books. I'm not saying any of them were bad. I'm just saying I'd rather they go to another home, because I do not think I will be drawn back to them. The Big Sleep is a detective story by Raymond Chandler. It was first published in 1939 and it feels very dated. This is supposed to be like the pioneer book for detective stories, and I just found it incredibly sexist. It was homophobic in parts, and it just made me feel really uncomfortable to read it. I'm not saying any of them were bad, so that can go. I am going to keep both of Adam Kay's books. So Murder Most Unladylike is a middle grade detective book about two girls who go to boarding school and one of their teachers is murdered and they decide to solve the case. And it's great fun. Really enjoyed it. But I'm not going to read it again. So that can go to another home to enjoy the quirkiness and slightly annoying arguments between two teenage girls who decide to solve murders. Procession of the Dead by D.B. Shan. I love Darren Shan's children literature. He writes a lot of horror. It's pretty dark in places considering they're children's books, and they're really good fun. This is more of a noir. It's about a man who wakes up in this city and kind of carries on with his normal life, and then suddenly realizes he doesn't remember anything before he entered the city, and he ends up getting involved with the very high up, influential and dangerous people, and they very much want to kill him. I didn't enjoy. Where I'm going with this is I love his other books. I didn't really enjoy this book that much, so it can go to someone else. Need to read. Fabulous. Ooh. Mother Country, which is a non-fiction book where it tells stories of the children of the Windrush generation. Very eye-opening. I haven't quite finished, you can see there, but I want to keep it and get back to it, so that can go in that pile. Those are some thrillers that I'm going to get around to at some point. Oh, Wakenheist. So this is another book I got from the charity shop when lockdown eased for a bit a while ago, and this is, I guess, a gothic, a gothic novel set in Edwardian Suffolk, where a young girl is growing up in this house next to this mystical, mysterious swamp, living with a father who is very controlling and cruel and would rather her mother died in childbirth than not have a son. And I think the really eye-opening thing about this book is you're supposed, on the surface, you think you'd be more scared about the swamp, but actually the house which our young protagonist is living in is the scary part and the horrifying part. And I'm gonna give that one away. Giving that one away. Toffee is another Sarah Crossan book. I haven't read it yet, but I am obviously keeping that. Sanderson. Sanderson. Assassin's Apprentice, 5 out of 5, brilliant story. Rural Assassin, could we just get rid of the middle chunk, scrap the romance, the very awkward romance scene where consent seems to go out the window, yet it's not addressed, and I think it's not supposed to be weird. I think it's, or, non-consensual. I think it's supposed to be romantic, but it's not, and just no. So I haven't started reading this one yet. These are all Robin Hobb books. They're the first of hers I've read. I'm really hoping this one is better than the second one because I loved the first one so much. I thought it was so beautifully and well written, and the twists at the end and throughout were just wonderful. I didn't see them coming. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to get rid of it because I do want to read it. If you've read the second one, let me know what you thought about the relationship between the main character and his lover, and the scene where he climbs into her room and she's like, "You need to go," and he's like, "No, I'm not technically on your room, I'm sitting on a windowsill." I think is kind of how it goes. But yeah, let me know. Cookbook, The Dark Side of the Spoon, which are recipes influenced by different foods, by different bands. So for example, Fleetwood Mac and Cheese. Marvellous, absolute gem. Loved it. I'm not going to keep it, but I'm not going to get rid of it yet. Another book I just want to hug. It is a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this when I read it. Thick, another non-fiction, fabulous. Pride and Prejudice, again, need to read this. Why haven't I read it? I've tried. I love the BBC series adaptation so much, but the book, I just, again, how far through am I? I'm like 90 pages through. Yeah, for some reason, I just would rather watch Colin Firth being the beautiful Mr. Darcy, which he is. Guys, I've still not read it. I keep on going to, even my partner the other day sent me a book, and he never sends me books because I think he thinks I buy too many books. And he was like, "Jazz, this looks like a book you'd really enjoy." And I'm like, "Yes, it is. I have it." No excuse whatsoever. Shock Doctrine was brought for me. The Way of Shadows I'm getting rid of. This is another adult fantasy about being trained to be an assassin, and I just wasn't at all engaging with the characters in this book. A Deadly Education, I'm going to keep for the moment. I'm going to keep because it's so pretty. I know, that's not a reason. The Family Upstairs, I've actually already said I'm going to give this to someone. It's a thriller. I couldn't stop reading it. I don't know if I enjoyed it, and I'm not going to read it again. Kenzuki's Kingdom by Michael McPurgo. This was another book where I was kind of getting nostalgia from my childhood. Loved reading it in English. Enjoyed reading it again. It is very, very simply written and there's not much depth to it. But it's a lovely read. Like, I think it's a fantastic read for year 6 children, but not for me at this very moment. Another book for me to read. Let me swap sides. These aren't all mine. Some of them are Rob's. Actually, I've just kind of like shoved a load of Rob's books. There's so many books. Ooh, so I'm getting rid of, this is some of them, these, and let me know what you think about this, and definitely these as well. So, there we go. These are the books I'm going to get rid of. Thank you for joining me on this slightly chaotic, it feels chaotic, I'm surrounded by so many books now, but thank you for joining. If you enjoyed, press that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, let me know if you love any of the books I decided to get rid of, and let me know when you decide to actually get rid of books, because it's not always easy, because so many of them, for whatever reason, have memories attached, like if someone brought it for you, or if on that day you found a gold egg on the street. That has never happened to me, but it's the first thing that popped into my head. You see what I mean. I am rambling. Have a lovely week, guys, and next week I have a collaboration unboxing video that I am so excited for you guys to see, because it was so much fun to film. Anyway, take care everyone. Bye bye.